Well, what is happening, video game fans? Welcome back to the channel. I am D-WIZZLE, and today we are talking about Mortal Kombat 2021 that just was released in theaters and on HBO Max, not August, April 23rd. Oh, excited to get into this. And joining with me today, I have from the Suki channel on YouTube, Michael.
What's up?
Cool. Yeah, his
All right.
channel, he does gaming. So you guys want to check out his channel, go ahead and subscribe. I'll leave a link in the description to his channel. But yeah, let us get into this. So, when it comes to Mortal Kombat, I'm a fan of Mortal Kombat. I'm not like a huge fan. I'm not I don't know a lot about the lore. I can't even keep up with all the characters' names and stuff like that. But I've enjoyed playing the Mortal Kombat games loosely with my friends because most of my friends own them, including this person right here. He is a Mortal Kombat enthusiast, so I had to have him here with me.
Yes,
But
sir.
as far as the games that I played, I think I played one of the original three Mortal Kombat games. I think there was at an arcade that I was at once, so I played that. And then I played Mortal Kombat 10 and Mortal Kombat XL. And I really enjoyed Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe as well. I really enjoyed that one. But yeah,
A
those.
lot of people will be mad at you for that one.
Yeah, I know I'm gonna trigger some people, but you know what? I had fun with that game. I know they couldn't get as bloody as they normally could in those games, but it was just really interesting to put DC characters and Mortal Kombat characters together. And you know what? I had fun with it. It was good.
Hmm.
And then we get to the live action films. Well, we already know when it comes to video game movies, they aren't the best. They had a pretty pretty bad track record most of the time. It's starting to get better when we had the recent Tomb Raider movie that came out, and Detective Pikachu and Sonic the Hedgehog. Um, actually kind of liked Angry Birds 2. Angry Birds 1 I wasn't a huge fan of, but Angry Birds 2 I was like, okay, this is all right. This is all right. So we're starting to get an improvement with video game movies. We're not going to talk about Monster Hunter, even though I haven't seen it, but I heard it was bad. But I will get to that. But when it comes to the original Mortal Kombat movies that came out in the 90s, okay, look, I know a lot of people enjoy the first Mortal Kombat movie that came out in 1995. People say that that's one of the best video game movies that came out. I'm sorry, I'm not with you guys on that one. I'm sorry. Like,
What?
I did not like the original Mortal Kombat movie. I don't even enjoy it on a guilty pleasure level. I'm sorry. It's just too dumb for me. It is. I mean, there's some cool things in there, sure, and it's cheesy over the top. I'm sure people enjoy that, but for me, I just didn't really enjoy it. So I'm sorry. I didn't even like the original Mortal Kombat. I know it's a special place in people's hearts, but I don't like that. But I know we can all agree that Mortal Kombat Annihilation was an abomination to humanity and should never have existed ever. Hate it.
I will say this. That movie was terrible, but I did like how they added like more characters. That's all I'm gonna say. Scorpion looked terrible, and that was my
Oh
favorite.
my
He was my
god.
favorite character. I'm not talking about that, and I'm not gonna talk about the snake dragons. Well, okay, yo. Interesting fact though. Interesting fact. The reason that like in the original Mortal Kombat movie, right? Why it was like a living thing in his hand is because like in the video game, it was so pixely. Like the people that made the movie thought it was like a living thing, and they didn't know where the kunai was coming from. Like they didn't know it was a kunai, so they were like, "Okay, just do this."
They couldn't do any research. They couldn't talk to the developers. Be like, what is that? What is that coming out of his hands? They just have to guess it. Like, oh my gosh.
Mhm.
If you guys have been following our Conjuring review, you guys know the person John R. Leonetti directed that one, and he directed Annabelle, and you can see the quality on that one.
Wow.
And then with the even with the first Mortal Kombat with Paul W. S. Anderson, who did the Resident Evil films and Monster Hunter.
The first one was good. The first one was good. And
Mm,
Retribution and Afterlife. And the last one was terrible.
last one was the
Um,
worst one. I didn't mind 2 and 3, but I don't think that they're that good either. But those two, I'm like, okay, I didn't hate myself watching it. But yeah, I'm not a Paul W. S. Anderson fan either, and so that's another reason why I don't like Mortal Kombat 1995. But anyway, so when it came to this movie, um, I didn't have a lot of expectations about it. I mean, I was looking forward to it, but at the same time, I know like, is it gonna be good? Because as we said, video game movies have not been great, even though it's starting to get a resurgence again. But it's like just didn't have a lot of confidence that they'll understand the property any more than they did with the previous two. So I heard James Wan was producing this movie, which um, that doesn't really mean that much to me either because he produces other movies that I don't like. For example, the Conjuring spin-offs, he produced those, and that didn't really help with the quality either. So whatever, that didn't really boost my confidence. And then they're getting a first-time director to do Mortal Kombat. It's directed by Simon McQuoid, and I was really worried about that. Why are you getting a first-time director to do Mortal Kombat? That's oh my gosh. Ugh. And then it also again, I think they're getting a first-time writer on that one too. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, they're not going to do this right. They're not going to do this right. But I will say when I started to hear behind the scenes stuff about this movie, it felt like they actually cared about the property, and they're actually trying to make it rated R, unlike the previous two movies that made it PG-13. So that was a mistake as well. So I'm glad that they're actually trying to be more bloody and be more true to the characters from what we're hearing. So that made me not as weary. And then when the trailers came out, the first I think it was only one trailer, it actually looked pretty good. It actually looked good. So I was hoping for the best. It looked like they actually cared about the property, and they're actually trying to make a good movie out of this. So let's see what happens. Um, oh, you know what? One other thing I forgot to talk about because you had me watch this for the first time, the animated movie, Mortal Kombat Legends,
Scorpion's
Scorpion's
Revenge.
Revenge, which I thought that was
Yes,
that was pretty enjoyable. So it's
it
like
was.
if it's anything like that, because that's pretty much what I would picture a live action Mortal Kombat would be. So it's like if it's anything in that vein of that, and it's like if they just actually do research from the games, because like there's a lot of lore there that they could tackle. I think we'll be in for a good one. So before we get into our thoughts, I guess we should say spoiler warning because it's been out for a minute, and I'm
Uh,
sure all the details are out there. So we're just going to talk about this movie, spoiler filled. So if you guys haven't watched the movie, go ahead and watch it. It's on HBO Max, whatever. Go see it in theaters, and then come back and watch this if you don't want to know anything about it. But anyway, what did I think about Mortal Kombat 2021? I liked it. I liked it. It was good. Um, it definitely I guess it surpassed my expectations because my expectations were not that high. But even then, I was like, I had a good time watching this, and this is to me this is actually a good adaptation of Mortal Kombat. I think this is the Mortal Kombat movie that I can enjoy. Was it great? No, it was not great, but I think it's good for a video game movie. It's like I think it's in the same vein with the Detective Pikachu's and the Sonics. Like they actually tried, and yeah, I had a fun time watching this. What did you think about Mortal Kombat 2021, Mike?
okay, first up, the trailer spoiled everything. Basically, the trailer spoiled all the good fight scenes,
Hmm.
and I hate to be that guy, but this movie and the original had things this movie didn't have, and this movie definitely had things that the original didn't have, like blood and gore and stuff. I guess I'm kind of salty that it wasn't. like a tournament. Like this is before the
Yeah,
tournament.
this movie's a whole prologue to the tournament.
Exact. I wanted to see more fighting. I wanted to see more Scorpion because like they were milking Scorpion in Sub Zero. They were milking
Yep, they're
Scorpion.
put in front and center of the marketing.
Yeah, and then like you wait the whole movie to get a fight, and I'm gonna say this: they wasted Goro. They wasted Goro. They did.
Yeah,
Now I had a problem with them like getting their powers like with that thing, but now that I think about it, it's a video game movie, and that's like I guess a minor change. So I guess to like a new audience that could make sense, but at the same time you're kind of changing like a big thing. But overall, I like the movie. It was bloody. Favorite part, Kung Lao did the spinning hat. That was dope.
flawless
Mhm.
victory.
And like, okay, so in the trailer, towards the end, when Shang Tsung says finish him, you see like Melina die. And I saw on Twitter, people were talking about this, and I think it was the director or someone. They were like, death isn't final in Mortal Kombat, something like that. So knowing that, I'm like, okay, Kung Lao is gonna come back like as a revenant, and so is like Melina and Kano.
And
But
Goro.
yeah,
So
and Goro.
yeah, so even though like people got bodied in this movie, there's a possibility some of them can come back, and it doesn't feel like a cheap thing, like like some of the Marvel deaths, but
Yeah, I was about to say that.
so I'm all for it, man. Is when these characters come back, but yeah, I guess adding on top of what you were saying, yeah, when it came to the rules of them um getting their abilities if they get chosen. Okay, the whole thing of how they get chosen and getting their abilities, even I was like, that's an interesting choice. Like they have that dragon marking on their body, which like it's not a birthmark, Cole.
It's not a birthmark.
How did they look at that and was like, that's a birthmark, even though it's specifically marked as a dragon in red, and it's like, no, it's a birthmark. That's okay. But anyway, so yeah, so I mean, even that's not completely the weird part. The weird part is that when they're chosen, that's when they get powers and abilities, which I was like, hmm, okay, that's interesting. Like, because like even with some of the characters' backstories, they have abilities for certain reasons. They have their own development. So it's just strange that they're like all clumping up their abilities to be like, oh, they have it because they're in the tournament. So like, what happens when the tournament is over? Do they still have their powers or what? So I thought that was kind of weird. And then the whole plot line with Shang Tsung trying to kill the people in the tournament, like like since and when they get killed, then the marking just goes to another person, right? So it's like, isn't it kind of redundant for them to try to kill their opponents when they're just going to spawn more? you know so yeah, that's a couple of things where I was just like, that's kind of dumb, but you know what,
Wait,
it's
that's
fine.
actually a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, so it's like just they kind of just wrote them in the corner, being like, I know they wanted to, simplify things for casual audience, but it's like they didn't really need to do that, and they just wrote themselves in the corner, and then just some questions just pop up. But that's not really something I was thinking about the entire way through. I'm just like, okay, it's kind of dumb, but I'll go with it. I'm go with it because I do think the world that this movie established and the characters, I think all that is interesting. Um, this so I guess we go like character by character real quick. I'm gonna save Cole Young for last because I have a lot to say about him. But anyway, let's start with yeah, Kano. I'm gonna start with Kano because he he stole the movie. It
He
was him.
carried.
He carried it. It was him and Sub Zero. Like those two. Oh my god, they stole the show. Oh my gosh. For those of you who don't know, my main in Mortal Kombat is Sub Zero, so I'm glad they did him
Scorpion.
justice. Yeah, I know. We got our little civil war going on, but yeah. So Kano, I thought he was great. He was hilarious too. Just like his dialogue was just so witty and quick timed. That's just like he was just a riot. I really enjoyed him, and this come from a person that wasn't really big on Kano in the games, like. I don't know. I just didn't think he was that interesting, but they really made him. He really made him cool in that in this movie, so I liked him a lot. Um, then yeah, let's talk about Sub Zero since we're already talking about him. Oh, yes, yes, and a whole lot of yes. Like, man, I loved his costume. I loved his ice powers and stuff like that. I just thought that it was all well done. And like, this is not even like a huge budget movie. This is only like a $50 million film. So it's like just to see what they were doing with all the the unique powers and stuff like that. It all looked really good, especially Sub Zero. Really liked his stuff. And then we all saw this on. We all most people already saw like they were the first 7 minutes of the movie with Scorpion and Sub Zero fighting and Sub Zero killing Scorpion's family. Like, yes, that was awesome. That was great. It's one of the best parts of the movie. Part of me wishes they didn't release that online, because like that was one of the highlights of the film. So it's like I just wish they saved that. But even then, like I really like that. Um, that whole introduction though was just so well done. Even I already knew about his Scorpion's backstory because we watched Scorpion's Revenge, so I got an idea of how it is. And the actor they got for Scorpion, Hiro Hiroyuki Sanada. I hope I got his name right. I really like him. I've seen him in a whole bunch of other things, like Last Samurai, The Wolverine, all this other stuff. So I think he's really good, and he did his own stunts in this movie. He's in his 50s, and he put it down in this film. I really liked him. One problem though is he's not in the movie that much, as we said. He's in the beginning, and he's at the
At
end.
the end.
Yeah, and it's like there's some little glimpses of him throughout the movie, but it's like, yeah, he doesn't really do anything for most of the film, which I was kind of disappointed about. But when he's in the movie, when he's doing stuff, he's great. I liked him. Then Sonya Blade, I thought she was solid. She was pretty solid.
Mhm.
I thought she was fun to watch, though I felt like she was mainly there to give a whole bunch of exposition to Cole Young. Like most of her dialogue was just explaining to the audience what's going on. So I wish they did just dump a whole bunch of exposition on her, but I still enjoyed her. I liked her. Um, and then we get to Ludi Lin is Liu Kang. I really liked him. Ludi Lin, he was the Black Ranger in the most recent Power Rangers movie, so I already am familiar with him, and I thought he was good in that. But in this, I really enjoyed his version of Liu Kang. I don't know if it was me, but like the performance that he was giving, like it almost seemed like he has some sort of a manic performance like in the games, like he plays it straight and like he's more of a dry character, but in this one I felt like Ludi gave a little bit more of an edge to him. Like he might have a little bit of a screw loose, but he is still centered and stuff like that, so I really liked
Like
his
that.
version. And then Kung Lao. Kung
Kung Lao.
Lao. Oh, he was sweet. Oh, I liked him so much. Really enjoyed
His
him.
entrance was sweet too.
I know he came. Oh man, I loved his costume too and his hat. Like the stuff he did with his hat in this movie was so good. I was so sad they killed him in this movie. They killed him in
Your
the
soul
first.
will be mine.
Oh my gosh. Shang Tsung. I didn't even think we were going to get the soul eating thing in this movie. I thought that's something that they're probably going to say for the next movie. But they're like, nope, he's going to steal someone's soul. And guess what? It's Kung Lao's soul. He's going to take it. Oh my God. It looked so cool, but I was so sad that they just had to kill him in the first movie. I was like, oh, I'm mad, but I'm excited as well. It's so cool, man. Oh, so good. Speaking of that, Shang Tsung, I thought he was pretty good. Um, if there's one thing that I'll say was slightly better in the 1995 movie. The Shang Tsung in that one was really memorable, and I felt like this actor, while I thought he was pretty good, I didn't think he reached the levels of the one in the original. So I felt like, I think if they do more of these movies, he'll be able to, chew up scenery a bit more, and we got a good indication of what he can do. But it's like it felt like he was more reserved than he was in the original. So that's one thing I'll give to the 1995 one. Okay, but
Thank you.
even then, I thought he was pretty good in this movie. Um, this we're not even done yet. There are so many characters from the games they put in this. I was surprised how much they were able to fit in this, and it's only an hour and 50 minutes. So, Melina, I thought she was. Oh my God, she was good. She was good, and that was one of the things that I was apprehensive about when I was watching the trailer and seeing her fangs, and I was like, those fangs don't look as sharp and as menacing. But like in the movie, though, in the movie. Oh, it opens even more and the fangs
It,
get sharper. Like, oh yeah, going up her cheeks. Oh, I loved it. I loved it so much. And I liked her fight with Sonya as well. That was very entertaining. Oh man. And then Cabal too. Cabal.
oh my goodness. Okay, he's also stole the show
Yes.
to me.
Oh my gosh, he was so good. They gave him this. They kept had the Brooklyn accent and stuff like that. I was like, oh, this is so rad. This is so
And the
cool.
super
The
speed.
super
Woo.
speed, like oh my gosh, just so cool. And Melina had her teleporting abilities too. That looked really good. Um, the the other one that like didn't really stand out that much to me was Raiko. I don't know. They could have done more with him.
No one knows who that is, and that's the sad part. Like, if you play like Mortal Kombat Armageddon or are familiar with the lore, you
Hmm.
would know who he is. But he was just there so Jax could.
Clap.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Speaking of Jax, I really like Jax in this movie. I really liked him. And, I was also worried because the actor Makad Brooks, he was Jimmy Olsen in the CW Arrowverse, and I didn't like him in the Arrowverse, but I think this role fits him so much better. He was so good as Jax, and I really liked the robot prosthetics that they gave him. It kind of worried me that they were giving him the skinny arms at first. I'm like, what is this? Why did they do this to him? But then he gets the bigger ones with his Akana powers. So I was like, okay, that's pretty creative. I really like that. Yes, he did look like Steve Harvey with the bald head and the mustache.
Just put him in a nice suit.
Yep, and he put him on Family Feud, and we'll be all good. But yeah, I really liked him. Um, and then Goro looked so good. I didn't think he looked that good in the 1995 movie. He just looked like stop motion claymation. I was just like, oh my god! But in this movie, he looks so much better. Um, and even though he did get kind of bodied in this movie. Before that point, I thought he put in work. I liked what he did. He did still look kind of stiff when he's like punching and stuff. Like his arms can only go so far.
He got killed by a default character, Dwayne.
Yeah, we'll get to that default character in a second. but yeah, I thought Goro was pretty good. Lord Raiden. Lord Raiden. Oh my gosh. Oh, if there was anything I could give perfection is Lord Raiden. I was not happy that they cast a white dude to be Raiden in the original movie. I was not happy about that.
But he had to laugh though.
That's the one thing I can give to him, but like it's just no, it didn't work. I guess that's one other thing. I was expecting him to do that laugh in this movie, but he didn't do it. So I was like, oh come on, he could have done the laugh, but whatever. But even then, I thought Lord Raiden was great. I was I know that he doesn't fight that much in the games, so I wasn't expecting him to get in a bunch of fight scenes in this movie. But just a part of me is like, I wish we just could see a glimpse of his action in this movie, just a glimpse. Which I know they're probably going to set up for other sequels. I think he's actually going to fight in the next movie or whenever they're going to do. But yeah, I thought he was great. He looked cool. His effects with his eyes and the lightning powers just looked really great.
He'll fight Shao Kahn too, so
Huh?
it'll be a big fight.
Oh
He'll
yeah,
fight
Shao
Shao
Kahn.
Kahn. Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah, they
He'll
set
fight
him
him.
up in this movie. I was like, yes. Um, okay, let's talk about this default character, Cole Young. So, so when I was talking about this movie before it came out with my friends and this person right here, everyone was like, "Don't worry, Cole Young's not going to be that bad. He's just the person that represents us. We're learning the world in his point of view. He'll be just fine." And I when I first saw him, I was just like, "No, no, no, no." This is one of the problems that I have with video game movies overall. They feel like they have to create new stuff for us to understand what's going on. Like they have to make new lore that's not interesting, or it's like 'cause they think the audience is stupid. Like if you actually trust the material of the video game, you don't have to make up this default character for the audience's point of view. And watching this movie, he was exactly what I thought he was going to be. Cole Young, he's not good. He's not. He is so boring. His delivery is so flat. Do they try to give him some stuff in this movie? Yes, they give him some connections with Scorpion, like he's a descendant of Scorpion, and when he gets his Akana powers with the shield, with the golden armor on his torso and the whatever, the bats, whatever, coming out of his arms, that's kind of cool. And like his armor can absorb attacks from opponents, and he can, relay it back at them tenfold. Okay, that's kind of interesting, but as far as the character himself, he's not interesting. And I didn't care about his stuff with his family and stuff like that, the wife and the daughter. And it's like when they set up the whole thing of, oh, you get your Akana powers with your emotions or whatever. Literally before it happened, I'm like, oh, he's gonna get his Akana powers because his family's gonna be in danger, correct? And sure enough, when Goro threatens his family, that's when he gets his Akana powers. Like that was the most predictable
It was very
BS.
anime.
It's very,
It was
very
very
anime.
anime.
And normally that's okay because Mortal Kombat does have an anime feel to it, but it's just like this just felt so cliche. And then I, even though the fight with Goro was entertaining, I couldn't fully buy it because up until that point, Cole was getting his ass kicked by everyone. When he's doing street fighting, he gets his ass kicked. When he's training with Kung Lao, he gets his ass kicked. When Shang Tsung and all the other ones, assault the temple, he gets his ass kicked again. And then you expect us to believe that he's able to fatality Goro.
A
Like
champion.
a
A
champion.
champion.
Like, no, 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 no. I did not buy that at all. Um, I'm sure they're probably gonna, if they do make another Mortal Kombat game, they're probably gonna try and make him a DLC character or whatever. Which I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Not wouldn't be anxious to get him as a character, but so the one thing I'll say about him, if they do make another movie, this may sound mean, but they either
Kill
need
him.
to kill him off or make him turn him into the next Scorpion or something. If they can't get dang, I forget his name already. Sonata, if they can't get him back to be Scorpion, then just reincarnate Cole Young to turn him into Scorpion or something. But other than that, yeah, either do that or kill him because I'm not feeling him. And then they're setting him up to be the person to get Johnny Cage in this movie. Which, let's talk about that. Why wasn't Johnny Cage in this movie?
I don't
Why
know.
wasn't he in this movie? Um, I know you have Kano in there doing quips and one-liners, so they probably thinking, "Oh, we can't have two people doing that." But it's like BS, man. Like because everyone else was playing it straight, and Kano was the only one that was doing jokes and stuff like that. So you can afford to have two more. I mean one more and just have two in the movie. I don't think it would have hurt anything. But yeah, and then the whole excuse is they didn't want a white person to lead a Mortal Kombat movie, even though most of the cast in this film is Asian. So why are you complaining
Wait a minute.
about
Why would
that?
you let Johnny Cage lead a Mortal Kombat movie? Scorpion and Sub Zero, like that's what it's centered around.
Yeah, like
Like,
that's another thing. Like you don't need Johnny Cage to lead a film. Like you had Sub Zero and Scorpion. Like they're really interesting. Or you could have had Liu Kang and Kung Lao be the main characters in the movie because I thought their dynamic was really interesting. But it's like this whole thing of we gotta have just no. I'm at least glad they're setting him up for the next movie, so it's not like they're just not gonna use him at all. But it's just like I was disappointed that they didn't just go with Cage in this movie. We had to settle with Cole Young, whatever. Just, as far as the fatalities, yeah, perfect. Oh my god, perfection. Oh, there's
mm-hmm.
so many cool fatalities in this movie. As we said with Kung Lao with his hat drilling through what's that Nitara
Natara.
drilling through her head, whatever, with the hat. And I know people think this is probably corny, but I liked when they were saying flawless victory or fatality or finish them. Kano wins. I know people think that's corny and fan service, but you know what? I thought it fit. It fit for where they put it in the movie because Kung Lao actually did kill Nitara with no scratches on him, so that fit for that. And then with Liu Kang killing Cabal with the freaking dragon fire thing. Like, oh my god, that was so
Mm-hmm.
amazing. And then the fatality for Kung Lao. I was like, that's beautiful. And then I really liked how they did the fan service in this movie. I liked it a lot. Um, Speaking of other fatalities, when Kano like punched through Reptile's chest, the scene with Reptile I thought was really cool as well. And it pulled out his heart straight out of the games. Kano wins. You fucking beauty. I love that. Jax clapping that dude's head. That was great.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Um, when Sonya kills Kano and gets her abilities, and she has the purple rays or whatever, drilling through Melena's torso with the hole in the center in the spine. Like that's straight out of the games. Like that was
Yes,
awesome.
sir.
Just so many cool fatalities. Even I will say Cole Young had a cool fatality against Goro. That was nice. Drilling his knife thing in Goro's head or whatever and gutting up his torso and his stuff
Mm-hmm.
spilled out. That was pretty cool. And then we saw this in the trailer with Scorpion and Sub Zero at the end fight with Sub Zero slicing Scorpion's thing and blood comes out and he freezes the blood and stabs him and puts him
Yeah.
through an ice wall. Like, oh, that was so great. That was amazing. And then Scorpion taking off his mask and then the fire breath and he's incinerating Sub Zero. Oh, that was so good. That was so great. This is the bloody rated R Mortal Kombat movie that I've been waiting for. This is just so great. Um, if there's a nitpick that I have with the fight scenes, though, the editing was a little choppy in places. It was a little choppy. There was one too many quick cuts that didn't need to be there. Like there's like 4 or 5 different cuts for 2 action beats. Like now, I didn't think it was atrocious because I hear online people saying, "Oh, this is the worst editing ever." I'm like, no, it's not. As an editor myself, it's not that bad. But yes, there were one too many quick cuts that was in these fight scenes, and it's like when it comes to martial arts films, like they're better with just letting the camera go. Like they don't cut or anything. Then we actually see the actors do stunt work and it feels more smooth and fluent. Like not saying that it wasn't fluent at all. They were still very well done, but it's just you didn't need to just cut from this part to this side to this side to upwards to downwards. Like too many cuts, man. You don't need that. but there was enough to be like I understood. We understood what was happening. Like it wasn't like a scattered mess like some of the Bourne editing. People need to look at those Bourne movies and like those that editing is horrible. That is bad editing. But this it was fine. Um,
Yo, so I don't understand like in the movie, I don't really understand like if they're gonna go like based on like the actual Mortal Kombat lore or
mhm.
if they're doing their own thing. Cause it's spoiler alert.
I mean, we're already deep in the spoilers.
No, it's like really big, like from the games if they do this with the movie later.
Okay, yeah.
So Sub Zero didn't actually kill Scorpion's family. That was Quan Chi, right?
Mm,
From Outworld, this other sorcerer dude.
hmm
And in the movie, they killed Sub Zero, Bihan.
hmm
So I guess they're not going that route, but it kind of takes away from like Scorpion's and Sub Zero's character because you know they bring in like Sub Zero's brother who you know turns into a good guy and then well
mm.
who's like a good guy and stuff like that. I just thought that was interesting what they did.
Yeah, they did like they did take their own liberties with the source material. Like even with Sub Zero taking away Jax's arms in the movie, like that's not in the games. So they just make Sub Zero the culprit of everyone's tragic backstory. So I was like, yeah, Sub Zero's the asshole in this movie. But I don't know. I think that's good that they deviated a little bit, because you don't want it to be predictable, for people that play the games. I know even though the hardcore games fans are going to be like, I want it exactly how I remember it from the games, but like this type of deviation is fine because I still feel like it's in the spirit of what the games are, but it's like with them going in a different direction of like who killed who or who has a rivalry with who, it makes things a little more fresh. So it leaves it with the next movies like you don't know what direction they're exactly going to go into. But hopefully they don't take it too far or get too carried away with it where it gets ridiculous or whatever. Because if Johnny Cage is going to be in the next movie, I hope they don't get too silly with that. But but yeah, I was open to it and take my opinion with a grain of salt because, as I said, like I don't know a whole lot about the lore of Mortal Kombat, so I'm just saying it from a casual's point of view. I'm okay with what they did in this. So we'll see. One other thing we can nitpick is that e- even though I think the pacing was pretty good in this movie, it's an hour and 50 minutes, as we said, it could have been longer. It could have been longer. Like
An
if
hour longer.
a 2 hour a 2.5 hour Mortal Kombat movie, you up for that? I don't know if I
Yes.
I would say 2.5 hours. Maybe not for the first movie. Maybe for the next two movies, but it did need to be at least 2 hours and 15 minutes or something, because like I said, there's so much lore in this universe, and it did feel like it was truncated and stuff was just going bam 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 bam. But even though there was enough there where I understood enough what was going on, but it's just like it did feel like they were playing it safe. I think, and I understand that because, like, coming off of the first two original movies that didn't really do that well. So it's like they want to see, since they gave it a smaller budget as well. So it's like they want to see what happens with this film in case it doesn't get well received. So it's like at least it won't be a huge blow. So like I get them playing it safe, but the material that they used for this movie was good enough where it's like you could be a little bit more confident. Like you got something good going here. So it's like this could be a little bit longer. Like it just did pretty much feel like a setup. I mean, not in a bad way though, but it did feel like just set up for the next movie. So like get into the setup, get into the world. Like what is all the different realms and stuff. Like I know it's like I forget what's our world called.
Okay, so Outworld is like its own thing. It's Outworld, then like Earth Realm, and then I I forget what it's called.
Look at the
Oh,
Mortal
the
Kombat movie.
it's like hell or whatever.
Y-
Uh,
right. Okay. And it's like we could go into that more. Let's talk about all those different realms. Like, what's the significance of them? Even like Shang Tsung's world. Like, let's get more into that. Like, what does Shang Tsung mean to his people? Does he have people? How did he become a ruler? Why is he evil? Why is he trying to do all this stuff? What's the rivalry between him and Raiden? Like, what's the deal with Raiden? Where did he come from? Like, what is all this? Um, and then yeah, even Liu Kang and Kung Lao. Even though like we didn't necessarily have to have the backstory in this movie, but it's like we just give us some more details. Give us like some of that. I don't know, like Cole Young got the most development in this movie, and that's not right. That's not right. But anyway, I mean, as I said, that's just another nitpick. But that is one thing we noticed. Like you're playing it really safe, which I understand, but it's like you could go a little more crazy, just a little bit more.
And it's kind of weird how it's just a small nitpick how I guess Cole Young's family just like accepts this, like
Oh, they take this stuff really well.
they're like, okay, so there's some weird Iceman controlling the weather, and then she just goes to sleep. Like, man, it was just another Monday.
And then yeah, a giant four-armed creature comes and kills your family, and they're like, "Yeah, let's go help him." Yeah, I'm like, okay.
But I will say this: his wife is a real G, is a real one for
That's
getting
very
that.
true. She didn't play no games. She's like, let me get my shotgun.
Mhm.
So yeah, at least they weren't dumb in this movie. Um, so I'll give them that. And there's a bunch of other Easter eggs of other characters in the games that they had in this movie. I can't even keep up with all of them. Like they had some pictures of other characters that may
Oh,
pop
Night
up in the
Wolf
movie. Nightwolf, yes.
and Portal Khan, I think.
Hmm. So, and I think Katana as well. I'm not sure. I thought one of the pictures looked like Katana. I'm sure people in the comments will correct me. But yeah. So definitely looking forward to what they do next. So my guess with them making this the prologue to the tournament, because I heard they're probably trying to do 3 or 4 movies or something like that. So if I think this is the prologue movie, this is the next one I think will actually be the tournament. And if they do a third film, it's probably well, what happens after the tournament? Do they lose and then they take over the world, and then the good guys have to fight against them or something like that? Maybe so. And spoilers, because the actor who played Sub Zero signed on for 4 movies, 3 or 4 movies after this. So you know for sure that they're gonna come back. You know what I want to see? Since they killed Kung Lao in this movie, I want to see a prequel with Ludi with sorry, I'm thinking of the actor with Liu Kang and Kung Lao. Like I want to see a prequel of them. I think that would be really entertaining. So that's another spinoff they could do with that. Um, and then maybe they could do a spin-off that gets more into the development with Scorpion, since we don't get him that much in this movie. Like they could get more into the backstory with that, and we actually could see the underworld that he went into or something like that. And maybe it gets more development with Sub Zero as well. So there's a lot of possibilities they could do with this world. So I'm really looking forward to it. Um, think I said everything I want to say. Anything you want to bring up? Any Easter eggs you liked? Any other things?
I think we said it all.
Okay. So yeah, overall, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I think I think this is a good movie? Kinda. It's almost there, but I think it's a good video game movie. It's an entertaining time. Yes, the plot's kind of dumb in places. Yeah, the editing could be a little bit better, but I think the overall world building they did for this movie was really good. I like all the characters except Cole Young. I thought they were really good, really interesting. The fights were badass. The fatalities, the blood, the gore was amazing. And yeah, I'm excited to see more from this franchise. Like, yeah, I'm all in on this live action Mortal Kombat franchise. So I will give Mortal Kombat pretty good. It's pretty good.
I'll say that too. It was better than okay.
Yes, it was better than okay, and that's you know I, that's all I could ask for. That's all I could ask for.
Hmm.
But yeah, that is our thoughts on Mortal Kombat 2021. What did you guys think about it? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? Comment below and let us know. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell if you want to be notified on future videos I'll be doing. And don't forget to subscribe to Michael's channel, Suki. But that's all we have for you, Mortal Kombat fans. And we will see you guys in the next video. Talk to you guys later. Get over here.